I've been a long-haul trucker for over 15 years, and in that time, I've seen my share of strange things on the road. But nothing comes close to what happened one frigid winter night on Route 42 in the heart of Nebraska. It was mid-January, and the air was so cold it felt like it could freeze your breath mid-sentence. I had a shipment of agricultural equipment to deliver, and the route was a lonely one. A two-lane road stretching endlessly through barren fields with no signs of life for miles. It was already late, close to midnight, and I hadn't passed another car in over an hour. The monotony of the drive was getting to me. The hum of the engine, the rhythmic thump of the tires on the asphalt. It all started to lull me into a trance. To keep myself awake, I turned up the radio and rolled down the window, letting the icy wind slap me in the face. It worked for a while, but as the hours dragged on, fatigue started to creep back in. That's when I saw her. Up ahead, standing on the side of the road, was a woman. She was wearing a tattered white dress that fluttered in the wind, and her long, dark hair covered her face. At first, I thought it was just my tired mind playing tricks on me, but as I got closer, I could see her more clearly. She was barefoot, standing on the frozen ground, and she didn't seem to shiver or move. I slowed the truck as I approached her. Something about her felt off, but I couldn't just leave her there in the middle of nowhere. I rolled down my window as I pulled up beside her. "Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need a ride?" She didn't respond. She didn't even look at me. She just stood there, staring at the ground. A chill ran down my spine, but I chalked it up to the cold. "Look, it's freezing out here. You shouldn't be out in this weather. Let me help you." Finally, she moved. Slowly, she lifted her head and looked directly at me. Her face, it wasn't right. Her eyes were hollow, like black voids, and her mouth twisted into a grotesque smile that stretched too wide, revealing rows of jagged teeth. I slammed the truck into gear and floored it. My heart was pounding as I sped down the road. The image of her face burned into my mind. But as I glanced in the rearview mirror, my blood turned to ice. She was standing in the middle of the road, staring after me. I didn't stop again until I reached a truck stop about 30 miles down the road. The place was deserted, but it was lit up, and the sight of the fluorescent lights brought me a small measure of comfort. I parked the truck and went inside to grab a coffee, hoping the warmth and caffeine would calm my nerves. The cashier, an older man with a weathered face, noticed my shaking hands as I paid for the coffee.
"You all right, son?"
I hesitated, then decided to tell him what I'd seen. His expression darkened as I described the woman. "You saw her?" he said quietly. "Who?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "The lady of Route 42, he said.
Legend has it she's been wandering that road for decades, looking for someone to take her home. They say if you stop for her, she'll follow you. And she never leaves.
I laughed nervously, trying to brush it off as some local ghost story. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was telling the truth. I didn't finish my coffee. I got back in my truck and drove straight through to my destination, refusing to stop again until I was surrounded by people and daylight. But even now, years later, I still can't forget her face. Sometimes, when I'm driving alone at night, I catch a glimpse of something in my rearview mirror. A flicker of white, a shadow that shouldn't be there, and my heart skips a beat. I tell myself it's just my imagination, but deep down, I know she's still out there, waiting for her next ride.